Hey everyone, it's Carter back with another episode of LoudCast, and this one is going to be my Marvel movies ranked video. I'm really excited to do this one. I'm going to go through all 22 Marvel movies, worst to best, and I'm going to give you a little mini review on each one and tell you which ones I think are the best. So let's get into it. So I got my little ripped up list here. I'm going to start with the worst video, in my opinion, in the entire MCU. The Hulk movie that came out in 2008 is easily the worst movie in the entire MCU. It doesn't really fit. It has a throwaway Iron Man cameo at the end of it in the post-credit scene. The only good thing about it is that it really sets up Hulk in the universe and the moral backlash that comes to the Avengers as it goes through into Civil War and how these people are causing harm not to just the bad guys but also the good guys. Not much to say about that one. Not much to say about the first couple. Dark World is my second worst. Really unforgettable villain. I think his name's Malekith. Terrible, antagonists. The Dark Elves have no personality whatsoever. Pretty bad writing. The best part of the movie, honestly, is Thor and Loki. I love the relationship they build between them, and it really furthers once you get all the way through Ragnarok and Infinity War. So I think that's the best part of that movie. After that, I really don't think that there's any bad movies. 20th, I have Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that, honestly, it's a fun movie to watch, and I like to watch it, but it's not really a great movie. It doesn't really tie in with the rest of the MCU until you get to Endgame. Spoilers, when they use the Pym particle to go back in time. So there's no real tie-in with either of the Ant-Man movies. 19, I have Iron Man 2, easily the worst of the Iron Man series. A rehash of the first movie with Obadiah Stane, but in this time it's the Russian dude that comes in with, Whiplash, that comes in with the stolen arc reactor tech that his father helped create, and he wants to get back at the Stark family. Honestly, best part of that movie, I love Justin Hammer. Justin Hammer is one of my favorite MCU bad guys. I think he's hilarious, and I want a whole movie on Justin Hammer. That's weird thing I like. Number 18 is Thor. Thor is a very odd movie. I just think it's boring. I don't think the first Thor is really that great. I don't think they gave Chris Hemsworth that much room to operate. I think he's kind of under strict guidelines. He's not that funny. I honestly think, yet again, the best parts of this movie are the interaction between Thor and Loki and Odin. I think the family concept is really good. Honestly, another really forgettable movie in the Thor series. 17, I have Captain Marvel. For the sole purpose, I like 80% of the movie, and I don't like Brie Larson. I think that the side characters in that movie work well, and I even think Brie Larson, when she's playing a side role to Nick Fury, is really good. But I don't think it's a great movie at the time it came. I get that you need to set up Endgame with it, but I think it was really just, you knew it was going to happen. You knew Ronan was a bad guy, so you knew, I don't know. It was not a movie I liked. I get, personally, some people like it. Not my type of movie. 16, we have Ant-Man. My guilty pleasure of the Marvel Universe, like I said, is watching the Ant-Man movies. I think they're hilarious. I think they're funny. And I honestly think it's cool to see a little bit more of the old S.H.I.E.L.D. From when it used to be in the Potomac. I think it's a hilarious movie. I just don't think it fits into the MCU that well. Love Scott Lang, though. Scott Lang's awesome. Played by Paul Rudd. 15 is Ultron, the worst of the Avengers series. A good movie. It's just confused in its message, I think. So I think that this movie was used to set up the phase 3 of the MCU, basically. It wasn't really its own movie when you look at it. It sets up Black Panther coming in Civil War with the comments on Wakanda and the vibranium. Sets up Thor Ragnarok. Sets up Civil War. I think that's the best thing that happens in it, is the question posed by Tony of how much more can we do before we can't fight this anymore. I think that's probably the best part of Ultron, is the moral implications that are proposed by it. 14, Iron Man 3. Personally, it's my most underrated MCU film, in my opinion. I think that it gets a lot of flack because comic book lovers don't like the movie because it doesn't have the Mandarin the way it's proposed in the comics. I really like it. I get it's just another Iron Man villain that's techie and he can do this and that, but I love the movie. I think it's cool to see how humanized Tony Stark becomes after the New York battle. And I really wish that people would give it another watch after they watch Endgame, because I think the whole Iron Man series really does fit well into the MCU. To go 13, another really underrated movie, The First Avenger. I really like this movie. I like the first half. I like the World War II parts of it. Once it kind of gets past that, I think the Red Skull fight is good but underwhelming. I think it's really a good job at introducing the Infinity Stones and the weirder concepts of the MCU. And I like how it sets up Cap and Peggy, and it gives, obviously, the fulfillment of The Last Dance at the end of Endgame. Number 12, we have Doctor Strange. A personal favorite of mine. I just personally put it at 12 because I think Strange is better alongside other people. So I think he's really good in Ragnarok in a short cameo, and in the Avengers, the two most recent Avengers movies, I think he's fantastic in. I really wish that they might do like a side movie with him, kind of like how they do with Hulk and Thor Ragnarok. I hope maybe they bring him into the next Guardians or Thor movie. I think that would be fun. Oops, I lied. We still have number 11 to go. Black Panther is my 11th pick for this list. I think Black Panther is a really good movie for the first 2/3 of it, and at the end it kind of becomes a CGI mess, especially with that final battle. What I've heard is that they gave it to the CGI studio with only 2 weeks to finish that CGI scene. Personally, I think it's a fun movie. I love the soundtrack. Really good villain. I think Killmonger's the second best villain behind Thanos in the MCU. I think he has a really good backstory and reason for what he's doing. And I think it really makes Black Panther an interesting character as well, because it makes him question the beliefs he's had for his whole life. To start off the top 10, we have the original Avengers. This was, as a kid when I went to go see this in 2012, was like my whole childhood put together. I was so excited when I went to see this. I love how they managed to give everyone their own roles and even make Black Widow and Hawkeye, very underpowered characters, a part of the story. I love the Loki Thor banter that we get in it. I love how Banner and Stark build their friendship, and I love the tension that's always there with Captain America and Iron Man. Honestly, this was a great way to start off the Avengers series, and I think it built a lot of hype for the ones to come. 9, I have the original Iron Man. Personally, one of my favorite MCU movies, because it's just such a great origin story. If you go back and watch it, this was before Robert Downey Jr. was big. It was before that Marvel was a huge studio. It was when they were almost bankrupt at the time. And you just go back and watch this, there's pure joy that comes to me when I get to watch Iron Man suits get built. I guess it's the nerd in me, but it's awesome. Number 8, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I personally put this one under the first one, because I think it's a very good message and story, but it's done very convoluted. The Ego plotline is the best of all of them, but you have all these other people. You have the I don't know what their name is, the gold people. They are kind of just there to set up Adam Warlock. They're trying to fight them. The Ravagers a little bit are trying to fight them. It's just there's a lot of moving parts in the movie. I think overall it becomes a really good, funny Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but definitely a little bit underwhelming compared to the first. Number 7, The Redeemer, Thor Ragnarok. This movie turned the MCU on its head. After seeing how the Guardians succeeded and how you could get weirder with MCU films, I don't know how to pronounce his name, produced and filmed one of the best MCU movies to date. It has great lines, great music, and a great story. Honestly, this would be much higher if there wasn't the lost storyline of Hela and all of and the Ragnarok storyline. Honestly, I could have watched the whole movie with them on Sakaar. I could have watched that whole movie. I could have watched Thor be a gladiator for the entire movie. It would have been awesome. Love Jeff Goldblum in the movie too. And the Loki Thor banter, some of the best that you get. Number 6, I have Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man is my second favorite hero behind Iron Man. So I was so happy to see him come into the MCU in style behind his first outing in Civil War. He did a great job. I think that the directors knew what made Spider-Man Spider-Man. You see that it's a smaller story. There's not huge stakes here. It's his girlfriend's dad that's a villain. It's not supposed to be, oh, the whole city's going to get blown up. It's, hey, my life's going to get ruined. Like, there's no over bearing consequence like there is the rest of the MCU movies, which is what makes Spider-Man great, that they're smaller stories that are told from a teenager's perspective. I love that movie. Number 5, the original Guardians of the Galaxy. I went to see this in theaters, and I was surprised. I read some of the comics, but not the Guardians comics, and I didn't know any of them. They're B-list heroes in the comics, and they turned them into one of the most successful franchises. I love how quippy everyone is in the team, and I love how they managed to cast everyone perfectly for every role. I love Bradley Cooper as Rocket Raccoon. I love Chris Pratt, I think his name is, as Star-Lord. I love Zoe Saldana as Gamora. I think it's a perfect casting, and of course, Groot adds the charm that the movie needs. Rounding off and starting the top 4, we have Winter Soldier. Now, to preface this, I think the top 4 are interchangeable. Great movies by great directors. Number 4 is Winter Soldier. I personally do not like this one as much as the next 3, because I'm not a huge spy, villain, drama type person as this movie is. But I think it's a great movie, and I think the storyline behind Bucky being the Winter Soldier, it's great. The reveal is great. If you've read the comics or not read the comics, it's a great movie. I think that they handle it perfectly. The downfall of S.H.I.E.L.D. and it starts Cap's questioning of why the government is not good and fulfills it in Civil War. Number 3 is Avengers Endgame. Personally, I think Endgame was somehow they managed to sum up the 10 years of the MCU in one movie, and they did it great. I just don't think I can put it over Infinity War or my top pick, because it is a little bit slow at times. I like how it was slow, but I can see why people don't like that. And I think the time travel thing was cool, but it was honestly a culmination of movies, and it gave so much fan service. I loved it, and no hate to it. You could put it at 1, I would have no problems. Number 2, we've got Infinity War, the prequel to Endgame, and it was done perfectly. I love Thor in it. Thor is amazing, except for the fact that they kind of take a step back in his character development by making him need another weapon, but that's a story for another time. Do a great job with the Iron Man, Spider-Man, all these heroes coming together. I love it, and it comes together in one of the saddest moments in the entire MCU, aside from Iron Man's death, when Spider-Man dies in Iron Man's arms, and it is one of the saddest moments in film, in my opinion, as a nerd. Number 1, my personal favorite, is Captain America Civil War or Avengers Civil War. Love it. It really finishes the Cap series out so well. It makes everything that you've seen previously in the Cap movies come to fruition, with him starting to question government agencies and wonder why he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. And now the very people I thought he could trust are coming against him, like Iron Man. And I'm on Iron Man's side, and I can see why Cap was upset. I love this movie, and I think it's the best in the MCU. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Tell me your rankings, and give me suggestions for more episodes. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.